everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that literally touches almost every single one of us, either directly or through someone we absolutely love. We're looking beyond just feeling down to identifying the real, actual signs of depression. Let's break this down together so you can walk away better equipped to look out for yourself and your friends. Understanding this difference, it isn't just about memorizing medical definitions. It's about giving us the emotional vocabulary to truly, deeply support the people in our lives.
So let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Do you ever confuse sadness and depression as being, well, the exact same thing? If you just nodded or thought, yeah, kinda, you are definitely not alone. It's incredibly common to use the terms interchangeably in our day-to-day chats. We often say we're depressed about a canceled plan or a rainy weekend ruining our trip. But this is exactly why we need to dig into this topic. Because while not every instance of sadness is depression, making the mistake of ignoring true depression, that can be highly, highly dangerous. We simply can't afford to look the other way. So we've got to clearly define what it is we're actually dealing with.
All right, let's start with the basics. What exactly is sadness? First off, it's super important to validate what we all experience on a regular basis. Sadness is not a flaw, right? It is a completely standard, healthy reaction to a problem or a loss. When life throws a curveball your way, feeling sad is literally just your brain's natural processing mechanism. It's how we navigate disappointment or grief. But pay really close attention to a crucial detail here. Sadness is temporary. It fades after some time. It runs its course, and eventually it allows a person to return to their normal life. It doesn't permanently alter who you are or trap you forever in a dark place. Just think about those heavy moments we all face. Maybe you completely bombed an exam you spent weeks studying for, or you just went through a really painful breakup. In those moments, you feel it deeply. You might cry, you might just want to stay in bed for a morning, because your mind is processing a very real loss. But what happens next? Eventually, you bounce back. The storm passes, the sun comes out, and you move forward. You recover in a few days. You're able to pick up the pieces, return to your hobbies, laugh with your friends again, and just keep moving forward with your daily routine. But what happens when that cloud absolutely refuses to lift? Let's move on and talk about depression. We've got to completely separate these two concepts in our minds. Sadness, as we just established, is a temporary, normal human emotion. Depression, on the other hand, is a prolonged, serious medical condition. It's a systemic issue affecting the brain, which means you cannot just snap out of it with enough willpower. Trying to treat depression with sheer positive thinking, that's about as effective as trying to heal a broken arm by just smiling at it, right? It doesn't work. The underlying neurochemistry and emotional capacity of a person are profoundly impacted here. It's an illness, not an attitude problem. The absolutely crucial difference really comes down to duration. Think about how time completely changes the nature of the experience. Like we mentioned, standard sadness usually resolves after a few days. The mind processes, it adapts, and it recovers. But depression traps a person in a persistently low state for weeks, or stretching endlessly into months. That duration is the main thing that transforms it from a passing human emotion into an illness that just halts a person's life. When that low feeling overstays its welcome to the point where it literally becomes the new baseline, you are no longer dealing with simple sadness. And during those weeks or months, the internal toll is just devastating. It isn't just about feeling like you need a good cry. We're talking about a massive loss of interest in the things you used to love. It's an absolute absence of joy, completely replaced by extreme exhaustion. And I mean the kind of bone-deep tiredness that sleeping 10 hours just doesn't fix. It's a profound, heavy emptiness. Sometimes it even leads to the terrible feeling that life itself is entirely useless. Understanding this reality helps us build real, genuine empathy. It feels fundamentally different from just having a bad day at work. It feels like the color has been completely drained from the whole world. Because that reality is so heavy, knowing what to look out for is non-negotiable. So let's talk about the warning signs. Now, the key word here is continuous. We are looking for continuous sadness, or a relentless sense of hopelessness that simply does not let up. You've got to look for drastic changes in baseline behavior, too. A person might be sleeping way, way too much, or on the flip side, they might barely be able to sleep at all. You'll often see massive shifts in appetite, eating significantly more or much less than usual. Watch out for someone withdrawing into isolation, showing a complete and utter loss of interest in activities they normally love doing, and expressing recurring negative thoughts that just won't quiet down. If these symptoms are happening continuously, that is a blaring warning sign that requires immediate attention and care. Identifying those signs is the first step, but how we respond changes everything. I have an important message for you here. Depression is not a sign of weakness. Period. We have to completely dismantle the stigma around this once and for all. Suffering from this condition has absolutely nothing to do with your personal strength, your character, or how tough you are. It is not a failure of willpower, and it is certainly not a character flaw. Honestly, the bravest thing a person battling these heavy, reoccurring negative thoughts can do is recognize that they are fighting an illness, not a reflection of their own self-worth.
It is a medical condition. And just like any illness that affects the body, because it is medical, treatment is absolutely possible. There is a clear path forward here. The endless sadness, the exhaustion, the emptiness, these can actually be addressed with the right medical and professional help. Whether it's through therapy, medication, or a combination of the two, millions of people manage this condition and find their way back to a full, vibrant life. And I think that is a message of immense hope. No one has to stay trapped in the dark forever.
So we now know that sadness is a temporary reaction to life's hurdles, while depression is a serious, prolonged medical condition. We know what signs to look for, and most importantly, we know that treatment and hope are very real. So armed with that difference, I want to leave you with this. Knowing what you know now, who can you check in on today? Seriously, think about the people in your circle right now. Take this knowledge, share it, and let's actively look out for one another. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and please take care of yourselves.